Hi, I'm Mallory Lohr, a publisher at Random House Children's Books, and we are lucky enough to be the publishers of Kevin Hart's brand new middle grade novel, Marcus Makes a Movie. Signed copies are available at premiercollectible.com/movie. He needs no introduction, certainly not to any of you guys, but I'm going to introduce him anyway. One of the funniest people I have ever seen on screen or heard, because my son loves to listen to him in the car. Kevin Hart is an Emmy-nominated producer, born and raised in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Over the years, Hart has become a Hollywood powerhouse, opening 10 films at #1 at the box office and popularizing characters in the beloved Jumanji franchise, The Secret Life of Pets 2, and more. His stand-up special became Netflix's biggest stand-up special of 2020, and his latest is Fatherhood. I am so excited to be with him now to talk about his newest project, a book for kids called Marcus Makes a Movie. So, Kevin, what is Marcus Makes a Movie about?
It's a great question. First of all, hello. I didn't even get to say hi after that amazing introduction. Thank you so much. Marcus Makes a Movie. Marcus Makes a Movie is a story about drive, a story about ambition. It's a story about persistence and being consistent and staying true to who you are and what you believe you can do. It kind of is parallel to my younger self, my childhood, to a certain degree. And, I was met with a lot of no's on the way up. And the biggest thing for me on the way up was just having an understanding of what I was truly capable of and what I felt that I could do. And realizing that it didn't matter the doubt that came from others. What mattered was the amount of effort and energy that I was willing to put into the thing that I believed in. And that thing was me and my talent. In this case, Marcus shares the same ambition, and it's the will to want to make a movie. And he just keeps getting told that it's not possible, it can't happen, not the type of movie that he wants to make. And with some help of some friends and some resources from the friends and their heads combined, he figures out a will and a way. And it's something that I think that the youth just needs to know and understand today. Effort brings energy, and energy brings great results. So these are all things that I found true to me in my life, and this is a way for me to give that information and hopefully provide some ambition and endless what's the word here, endless what's the word with
Inspiration.
inspiration. There it is. Good one. Good job.
So, if Marcus is based on you, are any of the other characters in this book based on people you know?
Absolutely. I think that's the fun of writing. You got to pull from real experiences. And you find ways to play, you find ways to amplify, exaggerate. And in this case, some people that have inspired me along the way, I definitely pulled from and used them in our book. Tyler Perry and what he's accomplished and what he's done has always been so amazing to me. And there's a character that just pays a nice little nod to him and his success. There's a nod to this actor that I love, that's a comedian named Kevin Hart, that I paid a nod to by changing his name. It's once again, it's the fun within writing, the fun within creating, giving things that excite you, that you just find that you can springboard off of to do and create more. So that's what me pulling from those real relationships and real moments. That's what it did for me.
So, Kevin, you also did the audiobook for this.
Yes, absolutely.
What was that like?
I think it's a bonus. As a comedian, my ability to perform is something that I look for. I mean, I crave it. If I have an opportunity to bring something to life and create a different picture outside of the one that you're reading, I'll jump at the opportunity. So the audio space is just one that I thrive in, and I felt that it amplifies the story. Hearing me actually speak on Marcus's behalf and hear me play the roles of the friends and go in and out of the characters, it just puts a different energy in the story. And I think to have both be available, one that's available in book and one that's available in audio, it just strengthens your opportunity for success.
Well, and I feel like so many people now are, well, so many people are reading, but so many people are really listening to audiobooks
Absolutely.
too, you know, because
Absolutely.
there's so much you can do. You can be listening and doing other things. And I just know that's a great, it's just a great way to also take in a story. Like it's like
Absolutely.
having you, and how lucky, like you are their storyteller. It's your story and they're hearing it through your voice. I think it's always really awesome.
I feel like we're in the times of multitasking. You know, people love to do so many things at once. You know, we're busy people, and being able to check a lot of boxes while being busy is a must. So I think that's where the audio space really comes in hand. But then after that, there's also a need to sometimes sit down and be within self. You know, shut everything out and have a time where you're in a quiet place, and a nice book is needed. You know, so I think that both worlds can add value if given the chance, and that's why I make sure that I drive in the direction of both whenever I'm doing a project. It's really it's become a need for me in this space.
Well, and this is a great book to read out loud, and I know that because I'm actually reading it out loud to my youngest child right now. And I tell you, just even that first chapter, I'm like, this is our life. Like the whole arguing over the video games. I was like, do
Yes,
you recognize yourself here? Here you are. You know, so I feel like you are poised to inspire so many kids in
I
so
think
many different ways.
I think it's just really good just to make kids understand that it's so good to find something that you love and use that thing that you love to spark your creative, you know. And Marcus's thing that he loved drawing, you know, he loved the world of comic and character, and creating that he stumbled upon an opportunity to make more of the thing that was just a hobby. He stumbled upon this opportunity to take the stories that he was just doing, you know, as extracurricular activities at home and as an escape at home to do more with. And I think that's the discovery of self. So to the younger generation out there, you give yourself all opportunities to discover what that passion within self is. And after doing it, when you find joy, hold on to that joy, and be passionate about that joy, and be passionate and confident about the things that you can do while having it. And that's what I can truly say was the biggest benefit of writing this book about Marcus was really tapping into the joy that he found in knowing what he loved, and knowing that he was good at the thing that he loved, and staying true to that.
I have to say, what I also love, it's finding himself, but it's also he's doing something that he's sharing it with other people. So it's
Mm,
not just inside, it's also that
mhm.
what's inside, once you figure that piece out, then you put it out there.
Yes.
And something like anytime you're creating something, it's like great, you do it for yourself, but the ability to put it out there and to be confident enough to be
Mm.
like, I'm putting it out there. I mean, that's like, you know, that's a
Huge.
mixture. That's so much, so many different kinds of inspiration,
I
you
think that
know.
I think that completing anything is inspiration, right? Like putting your mind to something and finishing it is amazing. And that's one of the biggest steps. I think that's one of the biggest steps that some skip over and some don't really give a big enough nod to. And in this case, Marcus put his mind to something and completed it. And it wasn't an easy task. It wasn't easy. It wasn't as easy as he thought it would be, but he stayed with it, and staying with it got him to a place of success that he never saw coming. And that's ultimately what happens. That's what happens when you work hard and you truly give 100%. When you give 100%, it pays off. I'm a firm believer of that. It's something that I can say I'm a live living example of.
That's so great. I'm just going to remind everybody that they can get signed copies at premiercollectibles.com. I always forget all the little pieces, backslash movie. And we're going to go into some of your fan questions. I could
Oh,
just talk to you and ask you all my questions like
I'm
for
excited.
hours, but we don't have hours. So I'm going to start bringing in some of the fan questions. So Stephen from Ohio says, hello. If acting and comedy hadn't worked out for you, what other career would you have tried?
if acting and stand-up comedy didn't work out, I would probably be in the sneaker business. You know, there was a time in my career where I was selling sneakers and I had a real passion for it. I've talked about it several times. My goal was to climb the corporate ladder and figure out ways to get to the brands and hopefully eventually take a creative spot within said brand of developing and amplifying a new product within footwear. So that would have definitely been my lane. That would have been my goal. That would have been my drive.
I love that that's so particular. That is such you like it's almost like you can see your parallel career. Like if
Yes.
you just something else had happened, that's what you would have
Yeah.
done. Um, let's you can do a whole movie or write a whole book just about that.
I actually can. I know a lot about sneakers. You subinate, you pronate. You want a sneaker with polyurethane? You want EVA, condensed EVA? I mean, I can go on and on. I know it all. I know it all. I can break a sneaker down left and right.
All right, either that or I'm waiting for my Kevin Hart sneaker. Um, okay, let's see. Gabrielle from Colorado says, "What is your favorite song to sing to your baby?"
What is
My
my
daughter
favorite
Lucia
song?
is dying to know.
My favorite song to sing to my baby. I mean, after Secret Life of Pets, I got pretty messed up because, they gave me, Panda. After singing Panda and doing it in a way to where it was appropriate for kids, that became definitely a household favorite. Um, but the ABCs in my own way have gotten pretty popular too. My youngest son, Kenzo, he's a lover of the ABCs. So I'm an aggressive ABC singer. A,
Oh,
B, C,
oh,
D,
yes,
E,
I
F,
was.
G. Yes. Yeah. I'm very, very aggressive. So putting my spin on things that have been around for a long time, that's where I find the most success in my household.
I love that. Okay, so oh, Antonio in Amarillo, Texas says, "Can you give me a shout out?" Chino the Hustler from Amarillo, Texas.
Gino the Hustler, absolutely, man. Shouts out to you and shouts out to Texas. Do me a favor, man, and give me a shout out back amongst wherever you are. So this way, this was equal. I don't want this relationship to be one-sided. You, wherever you are, you give me a shout out back. I just gave you one, so everybody knows about you. Now you do your part.
There you go. You better do that, Antonio. Okay, so let's see. Brenda from Tennessee says, "How and why did you decide to write a children's book?" And you've answered some of that, but
A
maybe
little
like
bit.
where, take it back.
Yeah, I can give you another answer. I mean, the inspiration for writing a kid's book was just understanding that at this point in my career, I can give information in different ways. And I truly think that it's so important to make sure that you're reaching back to the youth and doing things to spark, amplify, inspire, motivate our next groundbreakers, our next leaders, our next actors, doctors, lawyers, nurses, contractors. I can go down a list and be here forever, but there's
Shoemakers.
shoemakers, you name it, authors. I mean, the world is so big, and the people that are here today may be gone tomorrow, and there needs to be new energy, that's implemented into the world so that we get better and that we don't get worse. So for me to kind of just give my take on what's helped me get to where I am, but not give it to you in a way for you to be me or become me, for you to be better, for you to surpass, because that's how we continue to grow, and that's how we go always in a forward direction. So it's truly about inspiring and motivating the youth.
So this is from Joel, all the way from Australia. And Joel says, "What has been your favorite movie to film?"
What has been my favorite movie to film? You know what? And I'm not saying this because it's about to come out. Fatherhood. I'm going to say fatherhood and the upside. And the reason why is because that was me tapping into different type of movie and different types of stories. And fatherhood is a true story. I really got to meet a man who went through some of the craziest hardships that life can throw at you. and I met him and I met his daughter. And when I tell you, I've never been more blown away by someone's ability to stand and be strong and show the true meaning of love, and allow me to take that story, shape and mold it to where it would fit for me to play him and play that character, and do a service of good. Fatherhood gave me the opportunity to portray Black fathers in a good light on the big screen. And it's been quite some time since I've seen that done, especially consistently. And this was a moment for me to do that while staying true to his story and what his life was. And we really hit the ball out of the park, on a creative, and just from my team of producers, Marty Bowen and the Obama family and my partners at Netflix and Sony when I developed it. There's so many people that were a part of making this thing special, and the actors and actresses that were a part of this whole project. It really stands in a place of its own, and it gets the gold star for me. This is definitely the best film that I've done to date.
So you are having a good year.
So far, so far.
So speaking of this year, somebody, I think Ali, yes, from the Maldives,
Ah,
uh, says, in a difficult time, as we are in right now,
mhm.
what would your advice be to an aspiring stand-up comedian?
Um, what would my advice be? My advice would be to go out first and foremost and give the craft a try. And while giving the craft a try, don't be afraid to be yourself. Comedy right now is, we've experienced some times where I think there's been a crazy spotlight on the craft of comedy, and because of that, it's a little timid, and some comedians are finding a way to get back to a comfortable place, and rightfully so. It's about respecting those that feel that they demand and should have respect, and I absolutely stand and agree with that. But you can find a comfortable balance between being funny, being personable, and being you. So I would say don't be afraid to do that within the beginning stages of the career, and stay true to that, and you'll ultimately tap into a level of funny that you find amazing, that works for you. It's about you, and it's about what you want to do. Don't try to be what you feel people want you to be. Try to be yourself at all times, and you'll be fine.
So really following that idea of like each person is unique,
Absolutely,
so
absolutely. You know,
find your uniqueness.
which is the toughest thing in life. I think we're all chameleons to some degree in the beginning, because we're figuring it out, and we're mirrors of things that we see, or things that we've been around, or our parents, or our friends, or what you're watching on TV, whatever. Like, a lot of things play a major influence. So as we grow and as we blossom and as we understand, we evolve into what we ultimately realize is the best thing, which is ourselves. And that takes time. You're not going to solve that puzzle overnight. You're not going to figure it out in a day. It's something that takes time. It takes years. It takes mistakes. And those things should be welcome. They shouldn't be frowned upon. And you learn as you go and grow. Once again, it's something that I say to my kids. It's something that I truly believe in. We're here to be an amazing finished product at the end of the day of who we are, and who we were meant to be. And if you can stand on what your life has developed into at the end of time, that's a beautiful picture. It's a beautiful picture that we all are painting.
So, mentioning your kids, Micheline from San Francisco says, where did you come up with the idea for Marcus? And have your kids read the book? And what did they think?
Absolutely, my kids read the book. My oldest kids. My daughter is 16 now, and my son is 13, about to be 14. My two youngest didn't read it because they can't read yet. Ken's okay, yours. But Heaven and Hendrix, they definitely read it. And my daughter's feedback was unreal. My son is very like blah. He's like, yeah, Dad, I liked it. It was cool. But my daughter wants to be like in the business. She's interning for me now at Heartbeat Productions, and she really thrives off of material, off of creative. She loves the fact that she got to see her father start out with an idea, and she got to see it develop at every stage. And I love that it inspired her, and that she really identified with the story, and it amplified her creative. It made her want to do more. And she draws her little pictures, and she has her stories and her ideas, and I think that that's amazing. I like that she's in that space, and she wants to be. She's not forced to be. I see a lot of Marcus and Marcus's makeup in her, and it means that you're doing the right type of material when you see the response from somebody that you're writing it for. Like that's the demographic, that's the youth, that's the next generation of. So for my kids to give me a good nod, that was definitely a highlight for me in writing this
Oh,
book.
yeah, because I was going to say the kids can be tough critics.
Absolutely.
They
Absolutely.
won't. They're not going to lie to you.
No,
They're
not my kids.
if anybody's going to tell you the truth, it is going to be your kids for sure.
Especially my kids. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So you said your daughter is an artist and likes to draw, and
Yeah.
Marcus likes to draw. Do
Mhm.
you like to draw too?
You know what? I did when I was younger. When I was younger, I was a lover of the pencil and a blank piece of paper. And it went from drawing original things to trying to mimic characters that I've seen. Then I stopped. Then it went to tracing, and I was tracing stuff and lying and say I drew it. And then people would go, "No, you clearly traced this." No, I didn't. I was that guy. I said, "I didn't. I drew it." And, yeah, you clearly traced this. This is a traced piece of artwork. No, I didn't, man. And then I somehow just forgot the stuff that I once knew how to draw, and I just took a bad turn, and I just got bad. So I never went back to it. I never went back. But there was a time where it was just fun. It was something that can occupy a high amount of time of you sitting and just being within yourself. That doodling and creating on that paper. It just it gives you room to go. It gives you room to go and float in. So I miss it. I can say that I wish that I had a love for it and a bigger and better talent in it than what I do. But the little bit of talent that I had, my daughter's taken that plus more, and she's actually good.
And you sort of get to experience it through Marcus a little bit as well,
Yeah. Yes.
right?
Yeah. I'm
Yeah,
living
I
living the
think that
dream. Marcus is taking that dream of mine, and he's
exactly.
running.
You wish you'd stayed on that path.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
So sneakers, cartooning. Look
Yeah.
at
There you
that.
go.
So
We're
many
finding it.
careers are
We're
there.
figuring it out. If things go wrong, we got a backup. We're figuring it out. We're tapping into it.
So are you a superhero fan? Because Marcus is a superhero fan. So I wondered whether
Absolutely.
that came from your
Absolutely. You have to be. I mean, especially in today's time, the world of Marvel and DC has gotten like, it's ridiculous. We have so many to choose from. And even if you're not a fan of the actual comic books, you can become a fan from the movies. So, over the time, just looking at these characters that have been developed and looking at the origin stories that have been attached to them, I've just been engulfed in it. And my daughter is a lover of it. My son loves it. So I haven't missed one when they come out. We've seen them all, and I'm glad that I've seen it with them because it's made me a bigger fan of it for sure.
well, it's also fun to watch things with your kid. You see it through their eyes. You have your adult experience. I have a nearly 16-year-old son, and he has made me watch all of them with him.
Mm,
So I'm
mm.
always like, you are getting me to stay up too late at night yet again.
We're in the same
So
boat.
I just feel like that's that, having that experience with them. So I feel like you're sharing it with your daughter, with your son, and then through this book to all the other kids that are out there too.
Absolutely. I mean, look, you got to find synergy. Find synergy in the things that you know that there's a response to. And, that world of character, that world of superhero, it's one that everybody can identify with. Everybody knows that sometimes that thought of being invincible or that thought of being able to do the unthinkable. It's one that we all had or that we have. So using that for Marcus and that acting as an alter ego, it was a way for Marcus to really express himself more. That's where we found the value in that.
I just love that his superhero is Toothpick.
Toothpick, name. Toothpick. Toothpick is the name. Skinny little kid. Toothpick was a skinny little kid, but he had powers. And if those powers came out, then you would feel the wrath of Toothpick. It's like as he created it, you could just see him getting more angry at whatever it was. And you know what else I loved is like it was a way for him to also deal with the things that he was going through at school. He expressed it through his artwork. So the problems that he was having there on that paper, he was solving it because Toothpick would come and save the day, and he would tell those people not to do these things. It was a way to get whatever was on his chest off, and it was a way for him to kind of like talk about it in his own way in his world. And his father kind of would ask questions based off of the artwork, and it gave his father like a lane to communicate with his son in as well. So there's a good there's a lot of good synergy and anecdotes in this book that as you read it, you'll find like some real relatable moments that you can go, wow, I get that. I've been there. I've done that. I've seen that. And maybe some kids would even look to kind of open up a little more and do things like this, just be a little more expressive and not keep things so confined.
Yeah, I was gonna say the communication between like Marcus and his dad are great, between Marcus and his friends, and when sometimes things fall apart, but it comes back together. But I just feel like there's always an honesty between the
Mm,
characters that I really love. And I think that's showing, this is what you want. You want to have this communication. You want to be able to be yourself with people.
absolutely. Absolutely.
So I know the answer to this, but the people who are watching don't necessarily know the answer, which is there going to be another story about Marcus?
Oh, absolutely. I don't do anything uh halfway, this is a world that I want to play in now, having the opportunity to have a book first of all is insane, but when you look at this, you're looking at now a character, right? You're looking at Marcus and you're looking at a band of characters, and this can become so much more, volume 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, who knows, what happens after. Is the world of TV a possibility? Is it the world of movie? I mean, Marcus can truly be something and someone that kids go, I love Marcus. I am Marcus, or I side with Marcus, or anything. I don't do it to think on one level. I'm a 3 to 5 level thinker with hopes to get to a 10 level space. So there definitely will be another book. We're working on it now. And after that, then we'll be talking about hopefully a third. So expect Marcus to stick around. He's not going anywhere for a while.
He's like Marvel movies. There's
There you
always going to be a sequel or a
go.
prequel or a spin-off.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's so great. We are so thrilled that you've done these books. So just a reminder that people can get a signed copy from premiercollectibles.com/movie. And Kevin, I just want to say thank you so much for joining me.
Uh,
Thank you so much for signing. Thank you so much for writing this book and for being an inspiration for so many kids and grown-ups, I have to say. I feel like grown-ups can always learn too.
Thank you.
Uh,
And to everybody that's watching, first and foremost, thank you guys for your continued support over the years. And I just want to say that, I'm going to continue to do things that I feel add value to the youth. And this book is just that. So please pick up your signed copy and read it. Like, I think there's a lot of good anecdotes. I think that there's a lot of good things that we can use for inspiration, motivation. And the biggest thing here is that the word no, I've been saying this for quite some time, is just a word. It's just a word. It's not a roadblock. It's not a slam door. It's something that can always be pivoted around. It's just a word. It's not forever. It can always be changed into a yes. So stay true to you, stay true to what you believe, and more importantly, just become the best version of you so that you can do the things that you want to do. That's what I would say. This has been great, and thank you. This was very, very nice.
You are very welcome. Have a great night. I'll say goodbye.
All right, you too. Take it easy. Bye
Bye.
bye.